Big Ten running back, kind of reminds me of Brandon Jacobs, but faster. This is a guy, he's going to run over you, through you, or around you, your choice. And it looks like when the Giants get a lead, which they should with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, or the Jets, I should say, not the Giants, they're going to want to get physical, and they're going to want to shove the ball down your throat and let that fantastic defense grind you into the dirt. Braylon, and he's young. He's still 20 years old. He's going to spell Brees a little bit. That's going to be a nice 1-2 punch. And I was happy for Jets fans when they saw it. Almost, so far the Jets draft turned out like a Jets mock draft. I was a little worried about that, but definitely focused on offense. And so Braylon Allen is a good pick. Again, watching, I always thought my Rutgers Scarlet Knights should bottle themselves after Wisconsin. If they want to run the ball and play defense and throw it downfield, fine. But Wisconsin was the team that did that the best. Although this past year, and some of Braylon Allen's productivity dropped off, they got new offensive coordinator, new scheme, new system. I'm not worried about that. Actually, Rutgers wanted long ago. But nonetheless, next pick, I wasn't high on this guy, but Jet fans had him in their mocks pretty regularly. And that's Jordan Travis, quarterback from FSU. Yes, FSU probably makes it to the Final Four if he didn't get hurt. And, decent arm, good mobility, pretty good accuracy, but he's hurt. And he's a little older. So I'm always worried about guys that are older. You have to worry about when and if they're going to be able to play. I preferred Michael Pratt. Why did I prefer Michael Pratt? I think he would fit the Jets' West Coast system very well. He's a little bigger guy, doesn't have an injury history, and he's been really productive. He's a solid guy who had opportunities to leave Tulane, and he didn't. And he managed to be really productive, and he was on the board. I thought they should have taken him. But this is the kind of pick that fans like. It's the low-hanging fruit. We'll see where he is in a couple years. He can learn behind Rodgers, and if he has plenty of time to heal, that's great. But, if Rodgers has to miss a couple games, and Tyrod, he missed a couple games last year. You're going to need another quarterback. So who knows if Jordan's going to be able to play. We'll see. Nonetheless, and then this was kind of a head-scratcher. But then you thought about it, and I said, okay, this is where the Jets are going. Isaiah Davis, running back from South Dakota State. Physical, bruising back. He's not super fast, again, and not real. I don't want to say not real athletic. He just doesn't have great speed, but he's kind of nifty. And if you have a double-headed monster with Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis, and there's nothing the defense can do to stop you late in the game, and you have Aaron Rodgers, so if you try to cheat up, Aaron Rodgers is just going to pick you apart. It kind of makes sense. The asset management, moving back, moving up, kind of at first didn't make sense. And when we were getting picks for next year and in 2006 with the JFM trade, Jets fans were like, wait, what? Why did we do that? But we recouped 3rd and 6th round picks that we lost in the Hassan Reddick trade. Plus, you leave assets there to be able to move and fill your roster further. And not to mention, it's good roster management, good cap management. You don't see it because you're looking for immediate help that could help us this year. That's fine. I'm okay with it now. They're going to save $8 million on the cap with JFM. And hopefully he does well with the Broncos. Quantez Stiggers, I've got to be honest, nothing about him. Played in the CFL, but he seems to have a great story. Really rooting for him to do well. The story about his father passing away in an automobile accident, and that he was playing in a fan league in Canada. And so that's the kind of story that you hope maybe he can break into special teams and do pretty well. So good for Quantez. And then Jalen Key, safety, they filled the need with Mr. Irrelevant. I actually, depending on how my mocks went, when Jalen Key was there, I took him with last pick in a draft, depending on how the board fell. But I think the Jet fans love the value that they got in Malachi Corley, Braylon Allen, Jordan Travis. But the thing you have to be just as happy about, which brings us just as much value, is getting Miami defensive tackle Leonard Taylor III. Excuse me. I thought I was going to see him play against Rutgers in the Pinstripe Bowl, but he opted not to play because he wanted to declare for the draft. And when that happens, you usually there's a pretty good chance of you getting drafted. He did not. Pretty shocking that he was there. Jets are going to have, if there's an area where you feel the Jets can work with a guy, if there's some issue, this is the team for him to thrive on. I think it's actually a really good fit. So good for the Jets there. Again, if you want, I have no problem giving them an A in this draft, at least a B+. Did a really good job by both teams, and we look forward to continuing the months-long argument about the drafts and Brock Bowers, and I'm quite frankly, I'm happy for the Jets. They didn't take a 240-pound slot receiver. Now these teams still have, Jets and Giants still have holes. Offensive line depth, I was in all my mocks. Left tackle Christian Jones from Texas, he was there late, especially like in the 5th round. You had to grab him. Mahogany, guard from Boston College, was on the boards and available. No dice. Christian Haynes from UConn, although the Jets picked up, someone else from UConn that could add some O-line depth. But there were guys on the board that you could have helped solidify the offensive line, so they didn't get that. So for the Jets and Giants, both have to solidify offensive line over the next year and into next year's draft. Giants going to need a quarterback. Just have to hope Jordan Travis makes progress and elevates. And so that's it. Hope you guys deserve a pat on the back. You still have some holes, but you had good drafts. My Rutgers Scarlet Knights, the red and white game this weekend. Some things, I have to say for the first time in years, their offense looks like kind of like an offense that can move the ball. Unfortunately, Gavin Wimsatt still, he looked better. But a similar stat line as usual, 8 of 16, 2 touchdowns rushing, 1 touchdown passing. And then our quarterback from Minnesota, Kalakmanis, Ethan Kalakmanis, looked more like a passer, looked like more of a guy that could move on offense. 10 of 17, 174 yards, 2 touchdown passes. Misses some out patterns occasionally, leaves you scratching your head because he's got a really quick release and accurate, gets the ball down the field, which we really haven't had in a while. We haven't had a quarterback, like the Jets, by the way, that can't complete a screen pass. Kalakmanis seems to be really accurate on those short to medium range passes. So Rutgers offense, which has looked amazing how Rutgers has been the Jets the past couple of years. Issues at quarterback, issues with offensive line industry, injuries. Rotating quarterbacks because of injuries. Rutgers first 4-star quarterback ever, Gavin Wimsatt, turned out to be kind of a dud. And, just like Wilson. So we won't have to talk about that much any longer unless the Jets play the Broncos. But hopefully, Zach will probably, be buried on the Broncos lineup, and we'll see what goes on there. But Gavin Wimsatt, same thing, 4-star quarterback, big, good arm, can run it, just not productive enough, a terrible decision maker. We were up against Michigan and Ohio State in the second half, and just the turnovers, some of which were pretty bizarre, you couldn't blame them. Nonetheless, the offense seems to be working a little bit, and that's a change from the past few years. Shiano seems to be much more comfortable in the spring this year than in years past, so I sense that he's kind of happy with the way things are going. And then our Knicks, good job by the Knicks. Anytime we can beat any team from Philadelphia whatsoever is a great day. Jalen Brunson is the man. Everybody, hope you had a great weekend. Enjoy the week, and we'll be talking soon. I need some coffee, sorry, from Scarlet Rogue Sports.